Celeb Secrets is hanging out with Harper Grace today. What's going on? How are you?
I'm so lovely. How are you?
Good, good. You need to fill me in on everything you've been doing. I feel like this is the first time we're catching up properly in 2026.
I know, girl, it's been crazy. I have maybe had a little too much fun with my promotion of If Daddy Says No, if you know what I mean. We have a new song dropping February 27th. Very excited. It's my brand new single, and I've just been in preps of what that looks like and also prepping for some live shows. I have a show with Scotty McCreery coming up tomorrow, and yeah, it's been wonderful.
That is so exciting. So you need to tell me all about this track, If Daddy Says No.
Yes, this song in particular is really personal. This is a piece of my story that I didn't know that I was actually going to share publicly and that it was going to play out the way that it did. I've honestly gotten a lot more confident with the reaction due to people sharing their personal stories after I've sang it at a live venue. So over the last, I guess, probably year at this point, I've been singing this song, and the response where people have connected it to their personal lives or their stories has really given me an opportunity to be like, okay, like I'll share my story. I'll go into the deepest, darkest parts of this. But this is really written about the push and pull of wanting to make the right decision for yourself. This song stemmed from a moment where I thought that I was madly in love and ready to run away and, chase this feeling rather than knowing that something that is right is worth waiting for. And this situation that I was in was not respectful or honorable to me as a woman, as well as to my father. And so that's where If Daddy Says No stemmed from, was a true story of my dad actually saying no, not to love, but just to remind me that true love is worth waiting for.
That is insane. And how was that conversation when you were like, okay, I'm going to write this song and not only write it, but then put it out for everyone to hear?
Yeah, I realized that so many other people, like I said, like had experienced stuff like this. And also the stories are such a wide range, whether, their significant other did ask for their hand in marriage and their dad did say no, and there ended up, being a happily ever after story, and their dad was, maybe not right, or whatever the situation be, or it's that their dad did say no and they ended up separating later on and their dad was right, or they didn't have a relationship growing up with their dad, so they still resonate with the song. There's so many different aspects of this lyric, and I think that in the process of writing this, I was still in the relationship, still stuck in between. And when I wrote it, I didn't know what the resolution would be at the time, which is why when you listen to the song, there is no end to the story. You kind of are able to put yourself in the place of how to make that decision. What is that middle ground that you're currently stepping in and the tension of your life, whatever the situation may be. But luckily, I'm glad that I have resolution now, knowing that my dad did say no to that person that is no longer in my life, and that I'm set to, move on to much better things. But I'm grateful for the adolescence that I had, and, trying to think that maybe I was going to do something else, and that it created such a wonderful story to be able to write and put pen to paper and have other people relate to it.
Yeah, I know it's probably in that moment when your dad was saying no, you were probably so frustrated, but I feel like everything happens for a reason. Like I've been in a situation like that too, and I'm like, you know what? Why was I crying over this boy? Like my parents were right. You know what I mean?
Right? It's so funny. I think the more I grow up, like you think around your early 20s that you kind of know what you're doing and your parents don't know, but then you reach a certain point. I'm 24 now. Maybe, some people get to this a little bit sooner, a little bit later, but where I'm like, oh my gosh, my parent was once 20 and 21 and 22, and they also experienced this, and they also had gone through different phases of life. And my mom and dad are most definitely right the majority of the time. And definitely in the moment, you're like, gosh dang it, like, you don't know, like, I'm just living my life and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then it hits you and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, what was I thinking? What was I doing? And there are so many relationships that I think people get stuck in of like, I know as ladies, and sometimes we, like as women, we want to believe the best in people and like really, really want to. It's not that we want to like play fixer upper. I think in some cases we sometimes do, but in other areas, it's like you give so much grace. You want to try and keep trying because you see the potential of somebody and you want them to live up to what you know they can be. And in the end, it's like there's some manipulation attached to it, which is why you're still staying in the relationship. And there's so many factors. But yeah, mamas and daddies They're right. They are right.
They totally are. And now, when you played this song for your parents for the first time, what were their reactions?
Well, at first, when I played this song, I was still in the relationship. And
Okay.
so my dad, coming at it, listened to it thinking that it really was that, well, I'm gonna run away in the sunset. But really, the root of it all was me saying how much I cared about my parents and that I wanted them to be on the same page as me, or I wanted to find out what they see that I don't see. But my dad is actually in the music video with me. And one of my really close friends is playing my fiance in the video. And so it's been really, really cool because my dad has just been so supportive and has, helped play this wonderful part in it, and stemmed from the relationship that I wrote it about, had brought out some anger and frustration in the video, and it's all panning out, and you see the real tension that I actually felt in those moments, which my dad is not an actor and doesn't make a lot of facials in his day-to-day life, but he really pulled something out. I tell you, like, I was like, Dad, you're really getting into it, but he's so sweet.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that for him getting his acting debut. He must be
He's
so
so
excited for it to come out.
I know. Well, we've watched the first draft and sent it to everybody and within my family, and we all really like it, and everybody's said the same thing of like, wow, Dad, like you could be, kind of get your acting debut, maybe quit your day job and like go do something else. He really does look like an old school like Western. He's got long, like flowy, dirty blonde hair and a
Uh-huh.
big old Texas mustache and like little chop stuff going on. Like he's cool.
People are going to want to know because on Instagram and social media right now, it says that you're engaged, and we know that that is not true, which I wish it was true for you, but
How cool would that be though?
I know,
It
I
would have been
know.
a wild time.
Can you tell me more about, that kind of tactic and why you wanted to kind of lead this to this illusion?
Yeah, so it was a crazy thought and it came very abruptly to me, and I immediately posted it as soon as I thought about it with really not a much thought, like more thought behind it. And I didn't know it was going to do what it did, but my true reasoning behind it was really the fact that I almost lived that life. I think that I had a really big fear of, I actually used to have nightmares of this person that I was dating asking me to marry him, and I would freeze and wouldn't know what to say. And I had a reoccurring nightmare of it over and over, and you'd think that that would like be a telltale sign that you were not in the right thing. But when I put these pieces together of like, okay, I want to tell this story. I want it to be as raw and real as to my story as it possibly has been. And I know some people have walked through the path of, getting engaged, calling off an engagement. Like there's so many things that have happened like that. And for me, I was afraid that that was going to be the reality if I moved forward in that way. So I thought to myself, like, I'm going to portray it exactly how I thought it would have gone, and still, giving some little puzzle pieces until the big reveal when it releases on February 27th. But we have strategically put it all together, and I'm so glad that the team was behind my crazy idea of doing it. I didn't tell anyone. Everyone internally was like, oh my gosh, is she engaged? Because I'm also like very private about my
Yeah,
personal
yeah,
life.
yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
would do something like that 1000%. I probably would date somebody and never tell nobody, and then out pops an engagement. So hopefully I'm not the girl who cried engagement. But the next time I do post, it will be real.
Okay. And hopefully that comes soon. You and I both. I hope that the next time we see each
I
other,
love for you. Yeah.
at least a relationship, something.
Something, girl.
I
I'm sworn
love
off
it.
dating for the next year to 2 years of my life because I'm like, I need to date my artistry.
Aside from the song coming out, and I know it's eventually going to be on country radio, what else can we be on the lookout for you with?
There might be another surprise version of this song in particular that even might carry a little bit more emotional weight to it.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we've got a lot of new music that I'm hoping will reach the light this year. Lots of shows, lots of festivals, lots of opportunities to hopefully hug a lot of friends' necks that I haven't met quite yet. And yeah, building up the fan base as much as we can. I'm very active on social media, so if anyone ever wants to chit chat and talk and share all their personal life details and stories, I am here to listen and here to be a friend.